Hey guys, this is Evan Summers with Summers Wellness, and with me is
Dana from wholehealthdana.com.
so animated. Dana, you are so animated. Um, we are we are both wellness coaches. We do what we can to help people navigate a healthier lifestyle using, kind of less in your face, you must eat this, not that kind of means. We would rather you make healthier choices right from the start than put a bunch of rules and restrictions in front of you that you'll never be able to follow and never will. So it's all about common sense at this point. So Dana, why don't you give us a little bit of a background of your story, and give people a quick introduction as to who you are and what got you started on the wellness path.
Awesome, I will. Thanks, Evan. My name is Dana, and I have a health and wellness blog called wholehealthdana.com. And my primary focus is to teach people ways that they can reduce inflammation and make healthier choices just to promote health and to prevent disease. And the reason why I've kind of gone this route is about 2 years ago, my husband passed away with cancer, and he went the traditional route. He did the chemotherapy, he did the radiation, he did everything that they told him he was supposed to do, and it was a horrible failure. And as we, we're going through that process, we were also doing research and trying to find healthier ways. We knew this wasn't the way we wanted to go, but honestly, we weren't prepared. And so we didn't know what we were supposed to do. And there's all this urgency and, sick and not being able to make decisions. And, after his death, I really just went and spent a lot of time learning about cancer, what causes it, how to prevent it. And I'm really all about cancer prevention and all disease prevention, honestly, because if you are eating a diet that is healthy enough, that is keeping your immune system strong to prevent cancer, you're preventing all disease, really. So I'm just about making healthy choices and helping others learn, healthy choices they can make so that they don't get sick.
That's awesome. And for me, it's really a lot of people in this business, a lot of wellness coaches, health experts, kind of dig themselves into this process because of a major illness or major disease, something that really triggered the desire to learn more and to develop that
Right.
deeper knowledge and understanding. I'm one of the rare ones. For me, it wasn't so much about having to get through one particular type of illness. For me, I've always been heavy my entire life. I've always been ridiculed for it. And as a result, because of that, I lived a life of self-loathing. And I never really understood that I lived a life of self-loathing. And it really has been kind of an epiphany over the past 2 years as we've started to change diet, we've changed lifestyle, we've adjusted the types of foods that we bring into the house, we make better choices for the most part when we go out of the house.
Right.
We haven't eaten in a chain restaurant, and I can't tell you how long it's been. I'd probably say the only thing that we would have eaten from a chain would have been Chipotle. It would be the only thing in recent history that I can imagine. The foods that we eat in home are a lot better, but we don't deny ourselves something that we just want to have, but we just do it in moderation. My wife works at Costco. There are many times I will walk through that bakery section of Costco and want to bring half that stuff home. But in all honesty, I don't want that in the house. I know myself well enough to know that I don't have the willpower to let it sit there. So I don't even get it. Kind of got triggered into a better health style for myself when in subsequent weeks, I lost my father and one of my best friends from high school. On the same day of the week, 1 week apart, I lost each of them. And it wasn't due to any particular trigger, but it hit me so hard that death affects me very differently now. And I made the determination at that point that it was time to start changing our life. My wife was already more on board with it than I was, which is pretty typical. But I wanted to get on board with that too. So for myself, for my relationship, I started making changes. I haven't felt this good in 10 years. And that's what led me to, wanting to use essential oils and start getting rid of pharmaceuticals. And that's basically how we preach it. It's a matter of, do you want to feel better? Do you love yourself enough to actually care about what you're putting into your body? And I've kind of taken the response now of thinking anybody who gives you that flippant response of, oh, you know what? I don't care. We're all going to die someday. That is an answer of self-loathing. That's somebody that you're talking to that doesn't love themselves, and they're just basically throwing out that flippant response of, oh, it doesn't matter. We're all going to die. Because they don't love themselves enough to try. That's like taking the attitude of, well, you know what? I'm going to take a shit again later. Why wipe my ass now?
Yeah. No, I totally see that. And from my standpoint, I also think they don't understand what they're saying. Because if anybody had lived through what I lived through, and seen what cancer does to the body, to the brain, to the pain that it brings, I mean, it's not a pretty sight. And someone who says that I'm not going to make a healthy choice because we're all going to die someday, they just don't understand what they're saying, because it's not as simple as, hey, I'm going to die someday, because there's the time period between now when you're healthy and here where you die. I mean, it's painful. It is uncomfortable. It is.
And it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have put a lot of faith over the years into trusting our doctors, trusting our government, trusting the officials that oversee both the food manufacturing process as well as our healthcare system. And unfortunately, the deeper you dig into this process, the more you understand that it's really controlled by 3 corporations that control all ends of it. You've got 3 parent corporations that run the world right now. And I'm not getting into a political debate about this, but when the money just changes from one pocket to another, it's really not doing us any good. Our modern medicine system has only been in existence for the last 100 years. And you go back 50 or 60 years at this point, and that's when we lost control of our healthcare system. That's when the money started to get involved and really started to take the doctors' control out of it and gave control to the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies, where doctors can't be doctors anymore. So they have a regimen. They have to follow a regimen, and they don't like it because it takes them out of their comfort zone when a patient takes control of their health.
Right. No, totally agree. So I tend to be more legalistic. I know that you're able to be more realistic than I am. I tend to be, it's bad for you, don't do it, and you stop doing it. And so I struggle with making or coming up with, like simple things that a person can do, to start taking that journey. And, sometimes I forget what the journey was like for me, because in the last 2 years, it has been like a speeding freight train. But it was a slow grow before that. So if you had to give somebody, a couple of good suggestions, and they're not hardcore like me, like gluten's bad, stop eating all gluten, once you give us, a couple of suggestions of something that would be an easy change that person can make, that would be a healthy change to make.
First and foremost, and it's probably the most difficult change to make based on what your traditional eating habits are, stop buying anything that's advertised on television.
I said easy, Evan.
Okay. All right. If you really want easy to get the ball rolling and start the process, make one change today. Basically, just change one thing. If you're a soda drinker, if you're a Gatorade drinker, if you're a sweet tea drinker, change that and start drinking water. I would prefer, if you want to flavor your water, that you use natural lemons or limes or oranges and infuse your water using natural fruit as opposed to the bottles of real lemon that aren't really real lemon. Just because it's a piece of plastic shaped like a lemon doesn't mean it's really lemon juice. But get real fruit.
Right.
Infuse your water with real fruit if you want the flavor. And that's the first and probably the baseline change that you can make that will have a marked improvement in your lifestyle right from the start. 1 week of that will automatically set your body in motion for every change that comes from that.
Right. If you could see my list, I have a little list of 5 things here. That's number 1 on my list.
Okay.
The only thing that I would probably add to that, me and my whole health mama were discussing it before jumping on here with you today. We would increase our water intake, but we took it a little bit further. Stop drinking water that comes out of plastic. So buy yourself a good glass water bottle. Stop buying water at the grocery store. No more Aquafina, no more Arrowhead spring waters. Put it in your glass water bottle and take it with you every day. And start your day out with water. So have a glass of water sitting on your nightstand. So when you wake up in the morning, you got a glass right there. And if you can squeeze a little bit of lemon in there for it to start your day off, even better.
Yep, I agree. The number 2 thing, also a very simple thing to do to start the practice, and it's not even food related, is to get outside for 20 minutes a day. Even if you just go outside and sit down somewhere in the sun for 20 minutes. It has been proven if you do exercise, just walking outdoors for the same amount of time that you would spend on a treadmill, whether it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, if you compare that exact amount of time from walking outdoors versus walking on a treadmill, you will burn 50% more calories just by walking outdoors as opposed to indoors on a treadmill. And it's because
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a 50% increase, and it's because you're engaging all of your senses simultaneously. When you're outdoors, you tend to swivel your head more. You move your body more frequently. You don't get into that relaxed nature of just step after step after step on a treadmill. When you're outdoors, you're going to be going up and down a different inclined plane as the street changes pitch a little bit here and there because it's not a completely flat surface. So 20 minutes outdoors, even if it's 20 minutes of just sitting around, will make a big difference in your wellness right from the start.
Right. I totally agree. My mama put that on number 4 on my list, and I have to say that is where I fail. I get up and I spend all day sitting at my computer or following somebody's scope or someone's blab or, on a conference call for something. And before I know it, the day has disappeared. I eat dinner and I sit back down at my computer, and I fail at that one miserably.
And I do too. But and something that Jennifer and I have made a promise to each other that we need to do a better job of that, even if it's just a matter of come home from work and walk around the block a couple times just to make sure that we're doing that.
Right. I mean, even once.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would tell myself, okay, when I get up tomorrow morning, I'm just going to take one, walk around the block and be ready to go, and then my day disappears.
Yeah.
So I think that's very good advice, and I'm going to make more of a concerted effort to make that a part of my my healthy choices and lifestyle, because I think we ought to walk the walk if we're going to talk the talk. So great one. One of the ones that are on my list is try to eat something raw with every meal. So it's a small, simple, easy thing to do. For me, I eat a very high raw diet, but a lot of people don't. They might stop at McDonald's or Kentucky Fried Chicken. Maybe they make macaroni and cheese or something like that. I mean, and everything is a cooked food or a processed food. And while I think all of that should be eliminated, if we're just talking about small healthy choices to get started, make sure there's something raw. Cut up an orange, eat an apple, have a salad. Just make that a start to, making some healthy choices.
Yeah, and I totally agree, because when you heat up your food, now you may think you're eating healthy by eating vegetables, and for the most part, you are eating healthier than you may have been eating before. But by heating up the vegetables or heating up your greens, you're destroying some of those cellular compounds that your body uses to flush other things out of the system. Especially if you're eating, leafy greens, if you're eating cauliflower, broccoli, all of these things that have been touted for years as being really good for us. Well, they are, but they're best for us when they're raw, because they're designed to be eaten that way. If you can pull it right out of the ground and eat it, that's going to give you the best benefit possible, not only from a vitamins and minerals standpoint, but also from a functional standpoint on what your body can use those items for in their natural habitat.
Right.
So yeah, I totally agree with you.
Right. No, totally agree.
All right, so what's next on your list, Dana?
Well, next on my list is, and this one for some people is kind of a hard thing to do, but it really is a wonderful, healthy choice, and it's an easy thing to do. People just may have a deterrent towards it. So my advice is stop eating fast food. No more stops at Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, Kentucky Fried Chicken. To tell you to stop eating all processed food right now off the bat before you've gotten into, the realm of a healthy lifestyle is hard to ask. So my advice is stop eating fast food as your first, move towards changing to a healthier diet.
Totally. It's so easy. It's so convenient. Here's what I would challenge you. I would challenge those of you who are watching this. Go one day without stopping at any of the fast food places between home and work. But count every one of them that you see. So most of us are all creatures of habit. We take the same routes to and from work every day. Count how many times you are bombarded with a fast food location just on a normal drive from home to work. And I think the number will surprise you. Now, if you want to take it a step further, add to that count every billboard and advertisement that you see along that route as well. And I almost guarantee you that the number will triple. So let's just, and let's throw out an average number here. Let's just say, and you're not going to believe me when I say this, that you pass 50 fast food places between home and work. Now, I'm including things like Starbucks and stuff like that included in there as well. But I'm going to say that you pass at least 50 fast food places between home and work. And that could be something as simple as a 10-mile drive. But if you also add billboards and bus station, bus stop ads, advertising.
What about the sides of a bus?
I was going to say, so the ads on a taxi or a bus themselves. If you add all of the advertisements that you see in that same 10-mile drive, you're going to get about twice as many ads to add to that number. So if you count 50 fast food places, you'll probably have a total count in the neighborhood of 150 when you look at all the ads that are bombarding you as well.
Wow, that's a big number.
And
I'm going to
count it.
Yeah,
Count it.
I don't think I ever have, but I mean, I can look at my normal route and think, okay, my gosh, yeah, you're totally right. I've never counted it and given it a number, but I'm going to just for grins, and I think you're going to be right.
Yeah, because if you think, and when I was working at my last job, I was only about 5 miles away. And it was, city streets, 5-mile drive. But just in that route, I can tell you that I believe the number was 37 fast food places on my normal route, and I only went 5 miles. Well,
and that's not counting billboards and bus signs.
No.
That's just actual restaurants, places you could stop.
Exactly. Just
wow.
along the route was 37. When you think about it, you've got 2 or 3 on every corner. And then you probably have 2 or 3 in between every corner. Just, so on the way there, it's easy to hit that number, and you'll be shocked at the number. And every single one of those is designed to make you think about their menu and salivate about the food that you could be eating, to the point where you start thinking, I'm too tired to cook today. I'm just going to swing by any one of those places that I know are on my way home.
Right. Well, and it's easy to do, I mean, just from a time standpoint, but also from a monetary. I can't tell you how many times before, I made a change in my dietary lifestyle where it would not be uncommon for me to stop at McDonald's every single day, because for $3, I could get 2 double cheeseburgers and a small French fry.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And I did.
And, there's a reason that food is that cheap. I mean, how can you call it food, truly call it food, if you're not really spending any money on it? When you think about all of what it takes to make that meal, and I'm talking, we go back to look at everything from the ranching process, growing and building the cows for that meat, all the way through the process of getting that meat processed, shipped, delivered, all of that. How is it really feasible that you are only spending $3 on that meal?
Right. No, totally agree. It's not food.
No.
And it's void of any nutrition, which is why you're hungry right after you eat it in the first place.
Yep. And along the lines with the getting rid of the fast food from your diet, I will make you this promise. As a wellness advocate, as a wellness coach, I will make you this promise. Give yourself 2 weeks, just 2 weeks of eating better food from your house with and follow Dana's advice. Add something raw to every meal. Stop eating fast food for 2 weeks. And then I want you to have a fast food meal typical of what you've had before. Just one. But after 2 weeks of not eating it at all, I want you to have a fast food meal, and then I want you to report back to me and tell me what that fast food meal did to your system. I promise you, when you pay attention, you will never, ever get a fast food meal again.
Yeah, no, I'm never even tempted any longer. Never.
Right. Yeah, there have been days, and I'm not going to lie, when Burger King was advertising their Halloween Whopper, with the black bun, I looked at it,
no.
And there was, there's that fleeting thought in my head of, oh, that's different. I need to go buy one of those. But then realistically, I thought about it and I said, what the hell is in that bun that's turning it black? Now, when they released it 2 years ago in Japan, it was made with squid ink. So it was made with a natural product. In this country, they didn't use squid ink. They used a series of chemicals and chemical colors, and they baked A1 steak sauce right into the bun, which by itself is loaded with chemicals.
Right. Well, I imagine that it comes out just as black or blacker as it went in, too.
Actually, it comes out neon green.
Wait, how do you know this?
There are pictures on Instagram.
Okay. That's pretty bad, too, though. That's a picture I don't want to see.
Yep, neon green. So, there's that for you. So, I think this is a good start. I think this is a good way for people to get things started. Guys, tune in to us next Tuesday. Hopefully we won't have the technical difficulties that we had today. But tune in.
Yeah, we'll get started on time.
Yeah, we'll do 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So you guys can figure out where you are in between that. But we will do this again. We'll do this every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Feel free to join us. If you want to get involved in one of these blabs and you want to join one of our empty seats and join us in this discussion, you are welcome to do so. You can send an email to me at summerswellnesscoach@gmail.com, or you can send an email to Dana. Dana, this is where you give your email address.
All right. So you can email me at Dana. No, I'm sorry. That's not even my email. What the heck? It is wholehealthdana@gmail.com.
There you go. Summers Wellness Coach or Whole Health Dana, both at gmail.com. I also invite you to follow Summers Wellness on Facebook. Also follow Whole Health Dana on Facebook so you guys can get updates on some great tips and hints. I'm also on Periscope under the same name, Summers Wellness. So look for me on there as well. And until next week, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you for joining.